Live. All right.
Getting close here. Now, have you watched the Squidly game yet?
I keep hearing about it. Someone that I know rather well is into it. I can't. I don't know. It seems silly.
You'll watch it.
I never
Don't
indulge.
do it. Nope. You'll watch it.
I mean, what is it exactly? Is it a game show or something?
No, it's not a game show.
What's it? I don't even know what it is.
It's a little bit more than a game show.
Is it? What is it?
It's a very well crafted parable for the desperation of people, not just in South Korea, but maybe anywhere, maybe even where we are.
Oh, Jesus.
Of being so far behind economically that they're willing to risk everything, including especially their lives, to win a contest, a game. All right. And it's about backstabbing and collaboration and ethos and pathos and all those things. And it's really well done. And once you start watching it, you will not be able to stop.
No. Is it as good as Tiger King?
Well, I guess that is actually a good point. The idea that had been when it was on like their most watched show, I think that's been surpassed a couple times by other stuff.
Well, the problem was it was the beginning of the it was the beginning of COVID and everybody was locked up.
Right.
And a lot of people were not going. So it was like anything, and
right.
It was timing.
It truly didn't deserve it, but this does.
This does deserve it. Okay, well that makes sense.
It's really and by the way, there's a cameo by Henry Winkler. Spoiler alert, didn't want to ruin it.
Who does have an autographed apron at a pizza place over by the Golden Gate Shopping Center. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I'm all shared up.
I know. Mine's slow today. It's just I'm getting the spinning wheel of nothingness on the share thing. So, let's see. I think we may have it here momentarily. Okay, that's it. Here we are. Hi.
All right.
Rid of that. Okay. I'm getting a bizarre delayed audio thing, and I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Hmm.
And I cannot start until I track down why it is doing that.
Is it on your phone? Is it on your computer?
Let's see here. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to just knock out my Facebook feed, and it goes away, and I'll pick it back up later. There was a conflict there.
Now we're good.
And unlike the Democrats in Congress, I reached a resolution and a compromise in moments.
I see what you did there.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
It is the Brad and Britt cast, our third one for this week. Big three-peat for us here. Thank you for joining us. We will span the globe, cover the world. And for those of you just joining us here, I've spent the last minute or so trying to convince Britt to not be a contrarian prick and watch the Squid Game, because it's a very compelling 9-part show that he would like, but because he didn't discover it first, he doesn't want to watch it. This is the Britt Whitmire game. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's very much like I'm stuck in a relationship. Hell, it's like you've been in this tug of war for 35 years over stuff. She suggested it, and so I have to resist, because the stuff that I tell her to watch, she doesn't watch. So that's where we are right now. It's a bit of a standoff.
Wow, that's even more of a lame reason. And let me explain to you, because I can come at it from a similar circumstance.
Yeah,
I said to Jane, who is not into particularly gratuitous, violent shows, she bailed on The Handmaid's Tale. It was too dark and too creepy. By the way, not all that violent, I don't think, but very dark. She didn't want to watch it. I said, fine, okay. And then this came along, and a week ago I said, well, let's try it. And she says, very often, like someone like you, what's it about? Okay, no, I'm not going to tell. No, you either accept the premise that this is a well done program. I'm never going to give you the story. It's about kids. It's about people playing kids games. Red light, green light. Want to watch it? No, you can't. You can't describe it that way. It doesn't make any sense.
Red light, green light. That's funny.
Exactly. Well, in the first episode, yes, that's what they do.
Well,
does that help you? Are you interested in it? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still going through Tiger King, so I can't can't really.
So I said to her, all right, let's watch one episode like we've done before, and if it stinks, we're done. All right. Well, guess who it was who ended up saying,
"Oh wow,
no, we're not watching. We got to watch it. We got to get through this." Guess who was the one who said when we got to episode 8, which is the penultimate, there's a 9th one. Okay, I just want to watch the 8th one. This is what I said. And let's save the 9th one. No, we have to watch. So we finished it up last night.
Nice.
It's good. It's very well done. And by the way, I'm not doing this because I now own 2 Hyundais and I'm partial to South Korea. I'm not. That's not the reason. I'm not in the tank.
That's fantastic. Korea. I can assume there's going to be a lot of K-pop being played at your house through Alexa. Alexa,
already is.
K-pop.
Already is. It's at the top of my playlist. Now, just to give you an idea how much influence it has, you may have seen this already. Guess who is allegedly not a fan of the show, but surely is? That's right, Little Kim across the border in North Korea. He says it reflects the sad reality of a beastly South Korean society. Yes, it's all about the greed and the financial life and death struggles of people that we don't have here in North Korea. I guess that's because no one has a fucking dime and there's not enough food to feed. And you're right, it's not the same kind of consideration in North Korea. But
there's nothing to compete for. Yeah, there's nothing to compete for in North Korea.
Right.
Right. Here's a kernel of corn.
Right. They don't even have red lights and green lights. Right.
There's no. I'm not familiar with the concept. So what about the other two great streaming projects everyone is talking about? The Many Saints of Newark and the Chappelle Special. Have you seen either of those?
No, I haven't. But again, and you can bail out on Squid Game if you choose by playing there's so much to watch, I don't have time. You can play that card. You can choose to do it. So I'm going to use that on on these two. I would rather address what I have put for folks watching us at the bottom of the screen, which is William Shatner is my hero. And I know you hate the idea of space travel. You were against.
I do.
You were against it in the 60s, right? When Kennedy said we're going to get to the moon in 10 years, you were immediately, why are we spending money on that when we could build more nuclear weapons to defeat Nikita Khrushchev and the Russians? That was you, right?
That was my thought. That was completely my thought, for sure. I said, fuck you, John Kennedy. We're not going to go to the moon.
No, and by the way, and I'm joking about that, but I'm with you in that this wall-to-wall coverage on these private space flight over and over again.
Shit.
It's too much. But I must tell you, and I didn't actually watch it, but I've been following Shatner and what he's been saying, and to listen and watch what he said when he got back, I thought was very moving. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it embodied a sense of wonder that in this country clearly is a way gone, except for people wondering what the fuck is wrong with us. We elected Donald Trump and now he's trying to wreck the country. That's a different kind of wonder. But his description of what it's like to look down, although he isn't up, you don't see the whole round Earth from as high up as they went. They didn't go up that high.
I'm sorry, round Earth? Did you say round Earth? Me and my friend Kyrie Irving don't believe that to be true, Brad.
Wait, can you just hold that? Because there's going to be a moment to bring all that back. Please, just hold that, okay?
Right.
Please.
Put it in my pants.
I'm totally with you on that, but just wait. But I just thought Shatner, by the way, a rather impressive 90-year-old human being.
Yeah, I'll say that
by
for
any
sure.
stretch of the imagination.
I hope if I make it to 90, I hope I'm even in that neighborhood if I get to be 90, for sure.
Right. Of course, I'm in admiration of that full head of hair that he has. It's really great.
Yeah. Aren't you the guy that spots the tubes left and right? Aren't you that guy? Isn't that totally fake hair?
Yeah. I'm 100% sure that Shatner was wearing fake in the original Star Trek, 55 years ago. Sure. I don't think he's ever had much of a hairline, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. But he is so together and was so eloquent, I thought, in a way that only someone that deep into the arts, into acting, into thinking about things in the way that other people don't. And I'm kind of riffing off of Mike Tyson. No, not Mike Tyson. Who's the astrophysicist? The
Neil deGrasse Tyson, I believe is probably the most unfortunate mixing up of black guys.
Sorry.
In the history of ever.
Hold it, hang on. John Gruden on line 3.
He's your guy now. Holy shit, that's fantastic.
Anyway, I just have you seen Shatner for the minute or two that he spoke afterwards?
Yeah.
When you check it out, I think you'll I think you may change your mind just a little bit and think, well, you know what, maybe as we move forward and the price of this starts to come down and it'll only cost $300,000 for a ticket, and they start to have lotteries where regular people can win a chance to go up there. It's going to take a long time, admittedly, but I just thought it was a good start today. It was a little bit different, and I was skeptical of sending up civilians like that, but I guess I was wrong about that.
And it all ties in nicely because if you win at the Squid Games, you get a lot of money, then you can get shot into space. You can afford space tourism, right? If you get a huge amount of money, right?
Yeah.
They say Jeff Bezos is actually kind of playing into this story with Gruden and those NFL emails because there's a rumor that the NFL really wants him to buy that Washington NFL franchise to get stupid ass Dan Snyder out of the way, and there just isn't that. They feel like he's going to really dig on this story about. We're just seeing the beginning of these emails from the Washington football team, right?
Yeah,
that was part of the story.
Yeah, and when you hear, and again, we're not carrying any water for John Gruden, no matter what we say.
I'm glad you said that. No way.
But when you learn, and I heard Don Van Natta Jr., did we ever have him on?
I think we did.
Did
I
we
think
ever
did at
have
least
him on? Like
once.
he wrote the book about the presidents playing golf and stuff, and we had him
Yeah.
on. I think we did.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, he's truly one of the best of the best. Does a lot of work for ESPN now, for New York Times, all books. He's really into it. And I heard him speak about this today, and he's, of course, still digging. When you hear that Gruden, of course, was incidental collateral damage to the real investigation that was going on of the Washington football team and the misogynistic shit that is Dan Snyder and that team. So here come those emails, and there's Gruden, the most prominent person, part of that email chain, and writing them. It does make you wonder. It doesn't make you wonder. You ask the question legitimately. What is the NFL hiding? Why do I not want other emails out of this 600,000 plus tranche of emails to get out there? And we know why. We know why. Because John Gruden is the tip of an iceberg, clearly. And why is Dan Snyder not kicked out of? Why isn't he forced to sell his team the same way? I hate to do this, but Jerry Richardson, way less shitty than Dan Snyder, not even close. Not even close. And they forced Richardson out. I'm not saying that Jerry Richardson was a Boy Scout in North Carolina and with the Panthers, and that there wasn't him looking at babes and checking out their ass, which again, I'm not excusing that. But God almighty, there has to be some proportion here in who gets punished and who gets taken out and who doesn't.
And remember, Jerry Richardson's punishment, which will eventually be Dan Snyder's punishment, is you're forced to accept a couple of $1 billion.
Right.
That's going to be your incredible punishment.
That's right. And so therefore, it's even simpler. It should be easier to get rid of people like Snyder, because you're not imposing a financial penalty on him. Not at all. No. God damn it, sell the team, and you're going to make 3 times the amount that you put into it when you bought it. Right?
Please punish me in such a way. Please.
Yeah.
I want to be punished.
Right. So, we're not even in the bottom of the first inning on this. Don't you think? So this isn't going to go away.
The guy that Gruden was emailing was Bruce Allen, who of course is the son of the legendary late coach George Allen. And we recall that Bruce Allen's brother is famous for what? What is Bruce Allen's brother famous for? One word.
Macaca.
It's the guy who ran for the Senate and called a black fellow filming his campaign doing opposition research macaca, which was a kind of monkey, which he then continued to lie about, and a lie that was really almost as bad as Gruden's. Well, I call people with rubber lips liars. It's almost as bad as that. No, I don't think that. I just said that word. It was a made-up word that just came to mind. It's not in reference to a monkey and all this other shit. And eventually he ended up losing that right. particular election. Right. So yeah, I mean, it's very obvious that someone wanted John Gruden out. And I'd like to thank whoever that is for getting that cancer excised from the Las Vegas Raiders. So their opening gambit was, we'll do the black guy with big lips email. And the Raiders went, if that's an isolated incident for 10 years ago, we're going to rock on. And they go, well, okay, I'll raise that, and I'll show you that, and I'll raise every other group ever he's going to slur. Anybody you can think of. And I'm telling you, eventually as they release more emails, I think they'll get around to the Jews and Swedish lesbians and anything possible, Eskimos. Because he was going hard on even Native Americans. Native Americans took it in the ass in the John Gruden emails. It's unbelievable.
Well, Britt, it's almost inevitable that you got to go to the Jews because, number one, you got to go to the Jews anyway. That's just a default. It's a default move for racists and for people that are harboring anger against non-white Christian human beings of any stripe. Your Jews are right there.
It's like ketchup. It's the go-to condiment. It's in everybody's refrigerator. It's there. You reach for it. The Jews.
And I haven't looked at the list for a while, but at least 30 or 40% of the NFL teams are owned by Jewish guys. They're the principal owners. They're Robert Kraft. Mm-hmm. What's his name in Charlotte?
Tepper.
David Tepper. Okay. So I just Al Davis. Bruce, the Raiders, right?
Oh,
Al
well.
Davis, Jewish, and his son, who was Mark Davis, Jewish.
Yeah.
So you don't want to bet against that one. I know they're in Vegas, but don't go to the casino and say that John Gruden somewhere, some way didn't have
I'm pretty sure he
something
did.
to say about Jewish people. There's no doubt about it. No,
we did talk.
And by the way, we look forward to hearing what he had to say.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it's going to be super original, just like the Big Lips thing. Way to go. That's some good shit right there. Right. Speaking, we talked about Kyrie Irving a moment ago and his flat earth theory, which may or may not be a joke. It's no joke that he is completely anti-vax. They've announced the Brooklyn Nets to have that he's not going to be allowed to practice or play with the team when they're in New York and California and anywhere else where they've mandated you got to be vaxxed. And now, of course, he is a cause célèbre, a conservative media darling, I'm assuming, as John Gruden will be very soon. And one commenter, I guess this is on the Twitter, saying that Kyrie Irving has sacrificed more than Colin Kaepernick ever did. He's the real black hero, Brad. Kyrie Irving, as the NBA season cranks up with the Nets against the Bucks coming up Tuesday night.
It's really worse than that.
Yeah.
It's really worse than that because this takes whataboutism to a new level. Because as you look down that story, you will see the comparison made to why did they let Magic Johnson play in the NBA when he had AIDS, but they won't let Kyrie Irving play and he's not vaccinated. They're actually going there. They are going there.
Correct.
And I guess we need to fact check what the reasoning was as to why Magic Johnson, who immediately retired when he got a positive AIDS test, and then
there was a comeback. Yeah,
he was voted into the All-Star game, and they let him play because it was determined. And remember, this is 1992. This is almost 30 years ago. It was determined then by science that AIDS was not spread by blocking someone's shot on a basketball court.
Wait a minute. You can't cough on someone and give them HIV? You can't get it from a toilet seat?
No, you in the case of two men, it's most helpful to fuck one in the ass. That would be the best way to spread it.
That's how that works, huh?
That was not likely to happen at halftime at the All-Star game.
You can believe that. I'm going to do my own research, okay?
So just think about the fact that all these years later, and you see, Magic Johnson was allowed to play in the NBA with full-blown AIDS, but Kyrie Irving can't play because he won't risk his health by taking the jab. Because as you know, when you get vaccinated, you are risking your health. So the premise, of course, this idiot. Oh, God almighty.
It's the dumbest shit ever. There was an incident when Magic Johnson was staging a comeback when he was playing a preseason game at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. He was scratched by somebody and did start bleeding. It was just a small one. They immediately stopped it. And I think right after that, they decided, okay, the comeback's over. It was a very interesting, but yes, it has nothing to do with this asshole trying to be just a contrarian dick and getting called out for it and being willing to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars every time he's supposed to be playing for no reason whatsoever, other than just to be a dick.
Yeah, I had, and I'd actually written this down as at the top of my list.
Yeah,
I was going to say Kyrie Irving and Liz Cheney, compare and contrast. Pick up your number 2 pencils and start writing. And here's the point. The point is that here's Kyrie Irving, star basketball player, but person who over the years has said a lot of stupid things, including the flat earth comment that you referenced a few minutes ago, in addition to a few others. But because right now, at this moment in time, he is one of the most famous anti-vax wackos, willing to, in effect, like millions of other people who are in the headlines, quit their jobs. He's in effect quitting his job over a vaccine mandate by his employer. Suddenly, he is the darling of right-wingers.
Mm-hmm.
Fox News, anti-vaxxers everywhere. So Kyrie Irving who up until recently was just another dumbass black guy who should shut up and dribble, and he's
Right.
stupid, right?
Right.
Now, because he is exhibiting the worst behavior in this country that is helping to prolong the coronavirus epidemic, they're willing to embrace him. Now, I want to contrast that with Liz Cheney, who you and I, and probably you, do not agree with on 98% of things that she stands for politically. However, in the last year, and certainly following January the 6th, she has stood head and shoulders above almost every other politician in this country, especially because she's a Republican, in being willing to tell the truth about what happened then and call out other members of the Republican conference at every level and say, we cannot allow for this. And so she has been kind of at arm's length embraced by Democrats and liberals for her principles, which is a good thing. There is one thing to embrace someone who you disagreed with and then say, you know what, you are right on this, and what you are right on is about saving the United States of America, saving our country from disaster, and embracing her for that reason. And she fully understands that her politics are not what got her into the embrace of being able to appear on CNN and MSNBC. That's not what it's about, but it's about putting aside the politics and saving the country. So the difference is, here's the compare and contrast. Remember, right-wingers are opportunistically grabbing onto Kyrie Irving for the worst reason. I think we on the left, if you want to call us on the left, are embracing Liz Cheney right now for the best reasons. And she understands this is not a 30-year marriage. It's not that she's, and we're all cool with that. We're good with that. Same with Adam Kissinger. Same thing. So
we're just having a one-night stand. We're having a one-night stand. We're having a little fun, a couple of drinks.
We're enjoying.
And go home in the morning. You take a cab.
So that I think that is I think that's an important distinction to make. And I was thinking about this morning. I didn't write anything down, but I've come to the conclusion that, and this goes into the category, I can't prove it's true, but I think it is true, which means you can say it's a conspiracy theory if you want. I don't think it is. What is going on now, and hovering over all of this, are the falling approval ratings for Democrats and for President Biden, and all the pressures that are building. I believe that somewhere, it may even be written down, that the policy of the Republican Party is to prolong the pandemic as long as possible, to make sure that hundreds of people are dying each day. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it under the guise of freedom. We're going to do it under the guise of, you can't tell me what to do with my body. All the crazy kind of things that you hear people repeat like drones at school board meetings and on television and in columns about how Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis, they are standing up for freedom. And of course, they're really trying to hold off the right flank and not get primaried out of their own governor re-elections. But in the end, the longer the coronavirus epidemic lasts, the more probably impossible it is for Joe Biden to get his head above water. And of course, that will start with intention and competence, which is always underscored by Joe Biden promised he would beat the coronavirus when he ran. He lied. Of course, he didn't lie. And he is up against not just the virus and not just the Delta, which didn't exist when he originally said things like that, but he is up against half the country, at least politically, that is determined to block universal taking of the vaccine as much as possible. And they're doing it in such a perverse, upside down way. The party that was for economic freedom, for business to be able to run its own businesses, to not be intervened with by government, being told how to run their business, is now telling every private business in Florida, in Texas, that you cannot say to your workers, who by extension, depending on what kind of business it is, you cannot say to your workers and therefore their customers that everyone in this room, everyone in this shop, everyone in this mall, every is vaccinated. You can't do that.
Now freeze, because that, again, this is my point, where the Republicans were the ones back in the day. They were right to work. Employer is always right. If they want to fire you because your shirt is red, fuck you. You get on down the road, right? But we never realized that those employers might want people to be, I don't know, healthy. So yes, that this is the Republican Party that wanted all that. The employer is always right, damn it. And if you can't fall in line, go get another job, you dick. And now they're telling employers, no, you can't do that.
Well, but and remember, I think this is very well thought out, because yes, you're right, but their response is always, we want as many people to get vaccinated as much as possible. We just don't want anybody telling them they have to get vaccinated.
Right.
Okay. It makes almost as much sense right now as me saying, you know what? I want everyone to stop at red lights when I'm driving, but I don't want anyone to ever get a ticket. I don't want anyone to ever have law enforcement pull them over. Because,
we don't need to get cops involved with that. Come on, let's not get
exactly. That would be the force of government telling me I have to stop at a red light. And by the way, you can take this, 25 levels, and I can't imagine that at some point in the very near future, this is going to extend to all childhood vaccinations. This is going to wake up these crazy people now who have jumped on board ignorantly in resisting the coronavirus vaccine, to when they're told by people like us, your kid has to have, 7 vaccines to start kindergarten. They're going to wake up and say, you know what? Why did my kid have to get that?
Exactly.
Because they're going to want to be, quote unquote, consistent.
There's not even
government not telling it, right? They're
in Mississippi. In Mississippi, there's not even a religious exclusion for the vaccines for schools. You can't go yet. We forgot to put it in there when we started doing this 50 years ago, mandating this shit. Sorry,
that's right, and because that's a full Republican triple there, legislature, both houses, and a governor.
We forgot to put that in there. Yeah, back in 1970 or whenever we started doing this.
That needs to get fixed. Yeah, so that's my overall, because I can't think of any other reason as to why this rolls on, because it supposedly benefits these people in audience size. If it's media doing it, it benefits politicians who have their crazy Republican Party now smaller, but more angry and ugly and willing to play along with Donald Trump in the background as your head writer and your showrunner. He's getting, he's behind all of them, and they're all in fear. So it's a mess. Kyrie Irving is your poster boy now.
This allows us to pivot to some certain ideas. This guy has made some headlines lately. His name is Tim Hill, and he was previously a sports radio host in Columbia, South Carolina. The company that owns that station, Cumulus, was mandating by October the 11th, everybody needs to be back in the pool, get back in the office, and start doing your shows from the studio and not from home. Tim Hill has said he has religious reasons for not getting vaccinated, and also he wanted to stand up for his kids. Let me get you the exact quote, because it's as stupid and nonsensical. Hill talked to the state about the reasons behind not getting it. Various religious reasons, he says, and the lack of any long-term studies have led me to this decision. I don't know what medical decisions are right for others. Others don't know what medical decisions are right for me. I felt I had to stand up for it. I have 3 boys and tell them to stand up for what they believe in. It is my job to teach them that. I felt like it was a test in some way. That's why it was stuck with me. So Tim Hill has become a martyr. It says in the article he is a devout Catholic. So this feels like something like one of those aborted fetuses things
No.
that goes
But by
around.
the way,
Maybe
that's
why.
all been debunked.
Of
That's
course
all been
it
debunked.
has.
The fucking Pope is taking the vaccine. Jesus
Exactly.
Christ, stop it. Just
The
stop
Vatican,
it.
the Vatican has said to Catholics everywhere, it's fine. Would you stop? You're not participating in the killing of babies. Put the shot in your arm. But this guy wishes to martyr himself in Columbia, South Carolina. Meanwhile, in Detroit, another Cumulus station where Savannah Steele, who used to work there, has decided that she will not get the vaccine and no longer has a job in radio. And Brad, the ball is yours.
She wrote a Facebook post a couple days ago, and I guess she's been on in that market for a while on several different stations. And she says, "I'm not even sure how to begin. Kind of numb, to be honest. Breaks my heart that this is even happening. My company, Cumulus, and side note here, we carry, again, no water for large radio companies like Cumulus.
Yeah.
That's
Cumulus is a really dreadful company, and they were a dreadful
Exactly.
company 30 years ago. But yes, continue.
Right. Cumulus put a vaccine mandate in place, either get vaccinated or be terminated. I'm not vaccinated, so I've been terminated. And Friday, October 8th was my last day on New Country 93.1.
Had to be a country station, right? It had to be a country station. So all of the rednecks can get behind her and line up, right?
Wait. I know what you might be thinking. I've already heard from coworkers, friends, and family. Just get the shot. For me, there's a bigger picture people seem to be missing. I'm just personally not ready to get it. I have my reasons, and it's nobody's business. Well, actually, yes, it is. I shouldn't be bullied or forced to do something I don't want to do. And that's exactly what's going on.
Bullied.
That was, by the way, that was a little Britt Whitmire's attitude when he was 2.
Yeah.
I just don't want to eat the peas. I believe
that's correct.
It's very un-American.
Yes.
People should be able to choose to take this shot based on their specific medical and health needs, not for fear of losing their job or education or being looked at as an outcast. In a society that teaches us to be kind and don't be a bully, don't discriminate, etc., when did we lose sight of that? I'm proud that I'm standing by what's best for me, and what's best for me may not be best for you, and that's okay. And then she talks about her career. It sucks to be losing the job, and radio's a cut. Thank you for being an amazing radio listener or listeners, friends, and radio peers who continue to support me. I'm forever grateful to your friendship. So I saw this a couple days ago, and I thought, I wonder what the comments are after her little Facebook post, because she's got a lot of people probably who are fans.
Sure.
And there were 75 responses. 74 of them were, "You go, girl.
Yeah.
You don't let them do that to you. We're gonna miss you, but you go, girl."
Fuck Joe Biden.
Well, that's enough of that. So I finally I'm gonna write something to little Roxanne. So here's what I wrote back. "Sorry, Roxanne, no sale on this one. If you don't realize by now that getting vaccinated is the only rational, decent, correct choice to protect not only yourself, but capital letters, everyone else, then you're simply being selfish, ignorant, and in the end, a sadly self-destructive person. Nowhere do you get beyond your beliefs as the reason to remain unvaccinated. Did you, quote, do the research? Newsflash, science has been doing the research on these types of vaccines for 20 plus years and merely tweaked it to work for COVID. It's safer and the ingredients are more transparent than McNuggets. Do you get your medical advice from Dr. Tucker Carlson? Your rambling scattershot post, when read by an outsider like me, and we don't know who she is, right? We've never heard. I don't know who she is.
I don't know. I don't know much about Detroit. Yeah.
Right. There's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture that you are missing. Just get the shot. If you're vaccinated and that makes you happy, I'm happy for you. You know, all the shit that she wrote. God. Getting vaccinated is not about making oneself happy. And yes, it is everyone's business. There is no bigger picture than the one of the United States. That's right. Now overflowing with vaccines, but pathetically sporting the lowest percentage of vaccinated citizens of any developed modern country, largely because of refuseniks like you. When a loved one dies, might that be the moment that you're ready to get vaccinated? When a close friend dies, will that do it for you? Do you want to be one of those unvaccinated fools interviewed on CNN in their deathbed in a hospital, hooked up to a ventilator, finally admitting that you were wrong? Or maybe you'd be one of those who doesn't even admit that they're wrong while they're dying. Like Phil Valentine or Mark Bernier, two of the radio guys who died a couple months ago, who paid for their stubbornness with their lives. They were publicly anti-vax, paid for it that way. The only real freedom that is a legitimate part of this conversation is the freedom we all will have to be able to enjoy when enough people have immunity via the vaccine, plus the additional immunity that may come from those who had COVID and recovered. That's what I wrote back to her. And nobody directly replied to me. And of course, how could they? Because, of course, I'm 100% right.
It's stunning
who
to me
are these
that if
people? Who are these people that do
well,
it?
it's stunning to me that if you're still in radio and you're still working in the business in 30 years, even under the best of circumstances, we know how difficult it is, right? You over a period of years, very competitive. You get fired all the time for nothing because you have asshole boss consultants. You have a listener that says you said booger on the air, and then some dick throws you out of the building and all that stuff. You've probably gone through rounds and rounds of people being fired all around you. You're saying you're probably not making as much money as you did 10, 15 years ago. But this is what takes you out. You dumb. Right. I can't believe this shit.
But see, that's the point. This isn't what took them out. They took themselves out at this point. Okay. It would be, and I'm going to be over your head on this one, Britt. It would be as if you were in the Squid Game and you were number 4. And you said, I don't want to be involved anymore. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to ruin the show. Don't want to ruin the show.
It's unbelievable, but this is the hill that you want to die on. But that's the hill they want to die on. They become martyrs. And then they go and they, I guess, suck Mike Lindell's dick or something. I don't know. Maybe that's where John Gruden is headed. You homophobe. This poll out, Trump laps the GOP field in the latest 2024 survey, nearly quadruples nearest challengers Pence and DeSantis. This is a Politico poll. And the interesting nugget in this was 86% of Democrats think that he should not run for president. 86% think not. And I thought, well, that's kind of a low number. But I think a lot of those Democrats are hoping he goes because they think that they can kick his ass, that Donald Trump is not going to win election in 2024 if he runs for president again.
Well, this is sad, and we're taking the bait here because remember,
I'll be happy to.
This is all about a guy who lost, not admitting that he lost. Trying to overthrow the United States government, and the thought that he could possibly be a viable candidate again to be elected again it's not just a flaw in our system. It's not a little bug. Okay. It's a disaster.
Okay.
It is a disaster waiting to happen. And this kind of polling, just confirms what you clearly knew. No, Ron DeSantis wasn't beating Donald Trump nationally for the nomination if the nomination were decided tomorrow, and it's not. And what this really does is it makes it incumbent upon the Democrats in the Congress to not weaken. It makes it incumbent upon Attorney General Merrick Garland to not weaken and to go all in, to go all the way, to arrest the Beatles, the 4 who refuse to show up and share the papers that they have and the information that they know will not just indict them, but would indict Trump and truly make him unelectable and unable to run in 2024 because he was intimately involved in planning and executing an insurrection to overthrow the United States government. So we've been down this road for more than 5 years, Britt, about saying to relatives or friends, if you're going to go with this guy, I don't know you anymore. This ups that to another level. It could actually take it to the point where, wait a minute, you still want to support a guy who tried to overthrow the very government that he wants to be the president of, that he wants to run. Who are you? What are you thinking? Because in the end, yes, it's about Donald Trump, but it's about the people that support him. And it's about the people that support him and then put the fear of God in that entire political party. It has been destroyed. There is nothing left of it. It has no claim to legitimacy. It has no claim to govern. They have no interest in governing. I mean, they are the Squid Game of politics, okay? Except instead of it being, 38 million South Korean won or whatever the currency is that they offer in the game, it's just about staying in office. That's the thing that's in the big round ball hanging over their heads that they are willing to do anything for. They are willing to kill anyone to remain in office. That's their prize, and they will destroy the country in the process as long as it keeps them in office. So think about, how would you like to be in a government of a country that doesn't exist anymore as you knew it?
Yeah.
How does that work? How do you get that running through your mind for it to make any kind of sense, all in service to Donald Trump? How do you do it? I don't know how you do it. And we go back to our other original question is, why is it you can name maybe on one hand the number of Republicans in the last 5 years who have said, my country really is more important than being in office as part of a political party that supports Donald Trump and his path to destruction for this entire country. The Bob Corkers, the Jeff Flakes, people of that's now Liz Cheney and Kissinger. And, that doesn't fill up one hand. That was only four. That was the first four that came to mind who walked away from any kind of security in the Republican Party. They said no mas. I mean, so that is what really troubles me, that there are that many people that are still willing to go along with the con, with the lie, and now the big lie. And I assume by now, and I don't think you'd talk with enough people that you would know this is 100% true or not. I certainly don't. That they've already bought into the conversion of the phrase big lie to not mean Donald Trump actually won the election and it was taken away from him and it was unfair and recounts need to occur so that Donald Trump can be rightfully restored to his place in the White House, and that on January 6th, nothing illegitimate happened at all. That's not the big lie, I think, by now to a lot of Republicans. The big lie is just in general that Trump didn't win. Okay. You're lying. No, Trump didn't win.
Right.
Trump did win. We know Trump won. So now you're the liar, right? And Trump isn't the liar. And they're repeating that. He repeats it at every event, in every speech. And they all go with him. And they don't want to admit that Joe Biden is the elected president, legitimate president of the United States. They're still going with that one. And what's the excuse on that? Well, what about in 2016 when you wouldn't admit that Trump was the president? What did it? That did not happen. That's a lie.
You're right.
Okay. Hillary Clinton conceded. I think, was it in the middle of the night, like at 2 a.m? She called it.
The next morning she actually made the speech. But yeah.
Next morning, and the phrase "don't want to admit that Donald Trump is the legitimate president." What that really means is, you idiot Trump people, what that really means is we couldn't believe that the country would actually, via the distorted, ridiculous electoral college, that allows for someone who gets several million less votes than the other person to ascend to the presidency, however it was done. But we didn't say he wasn't the actual president.
No.
We never said that. And the last time I checked, Barack Obama, still president up until January 20th, 2017, did not file a bunch of lawsuits trying to get the election overturned. Barack Obama, then the president, did not, on January 6th of 2017, send in a bunch of protesters and rioters.
The clowns.
To
Send
take
in the
over
clowns.
the Capitol. Right. And have then Vice President Joe Biden. Remember, he was still vice president then, right? He was vice president, and have him killed and have him hung. That did not happen, right?
No, that didn't happen.
So there is no equivalence. There's no equivalence, but this is what they do. This is where they are. And so now, if you know these people, if you didn't disown them before, you're going to have to disown them either for the first time or re-disown them if they support Trump again. I mean, this isn't fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on whatever, the way Bush mangled that. That's one of the great Bush malapropisms of all time, isn't it?
Not going to get fooled again.
No, sure, you won't get fooled again. Wow, what a mess. But in closing, I do support Captain Kirk. I do support Captain Kirk on this. That was just a great little thing there. Okay. Will we do this again on Thursday?
Will we do this on Thursday? We'll try to make more sense and do a lot better. Thank you. We'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.